Americans were united during World War II like no other time in their history. Because of that, they willingly tolerated all manner of restrictions on their lives that they would never endure during normal times. Detroit manufactured no new cars during the war, and gas rationing and balding tires severely limited Americans' passion for driving. When they went to the grocery store, they paid with both money and ration stamps. There were meatless Mondays and wheatless Wednesdays to curb Americans' appetites, and victory gardens popped up throughout the country to help the war effort. Most poignant of all were the millions of service flags displayed in living room windows, a symbol of both a mother's worry and a father's pride. Evelyn Fields came of age in the hard-scrabble world of the Nebraska Dust Bowl. By 1944, she had left that world behind. Transplanted to Chicago, she had recently married but pined for her husband, a sailor who was serving as a teletype operator on the USS Putnam somewhere in the Pacific. But Evelyn had her own job to do to help the war effort. She worked for the Office of Price Administration in Pender, Nebraska, issuing ration coupons and listening to her neighbors plead for stoves, boots, and other items.
When he had to ship out, I went back to Bancroft to the farm, and I couldn't sit there and wait for the war to end, so I went into Pender, and then I went to the OPA office in Pender, Office of Price Administration. I said, "You need help?" "Well, they always need help." I was in charge of a multitude of things. In a big city, you'd have one category. But I remember that I had stoves. You couldn't get a stove without a rationing ticket. That's terrible. You couldn't get a pair of boots, even if you were in the livestock business, without a rationing ticket. And then we were only issued that little dinky town. They thought we were out in the boonies, so you didn't have to issue many. Probably have 2 stoves that you could issue. Come on, the stoves are breaking down like flies. And we just couldn't issue any because we didn't have any coupons. We really weren't that short on things. But it's my opinion the government did that. In case worse things could have happened in the USA, we were ready to take a hold. We had organizations ready to go. That's the truth. I always figured that out. Anyway, I had shoes, I had rationing, I had stoves, I had boots. I was overloaded with work in Pender, Nebraska. My salary was dropped down to like $8.90 a year because they figured anyone in a small town has no expense. It costs more to live there than it did Chicago. In Chicago, I could live for $7.50 a year. It costs more to live.